A young boy named Alec was busy fishing by the lake one day when a strange man suddenly approached him and asked if he'd like to learn some magic. It often sounded way too good to pass up, so from then on, Alec would spend the entire day training with Eldaz to become a mage. One particular day, Eldaz was giving Alec a lesson on how to use fire magic in case he ever needed to protect others, and it was a little more complicated than what Alec was used to, but he eventually got the hang of it. He was a little disappointed that it took him a whole day to master fire magic. But Eldaz reminds him that most people have to study for an entire month to accomplish what he just did in a single day, so he should be proud of himself. Alec still wants to learn more, so he asks Eldaz to continue teaching him. But he says they've done enough for today, so instead he suggests that they should just do some fishing until it's time for Alec to go home. Alec ends up agreeing to take a break, but he's not happy about it because he wants to learn magic as quickly as possible. Eldaz chuckles and tells Alec that he has incredible talent for magics, so even if Eldaz hadn't started training him, he's sure Alec would have become an exceptional mage on his own. If that's the case, then Alec asks why Eldaz even bothered teaching him in the first place, and Eldaz has his reasons. But before he could explain anything, a fish took the bait and started pulling on his line. So both he and Alec immediately dropped the conversation and tried to pull it up with all their might. The next day, Alec's training continues, and this time Eldaz has brought a magic book for him to read. But to Alec, it's more confusing than the time they started adding letters to math, so it takes a while for him to understand. Over the next few months, Eldaz takes his time explaining all the magical formulas to him, and little by little he comes to understand them. However, by spring the next year, when it was time for their usual training session, Eldaz came bearing some bad news. He said he has to leave the capital soon, so he won't be able to train Alec anymore, but before he leaves, he wants to give his student a friendly warning. With his talent, Alec could easily become a court magician if he wanted to, but Eldaz told him that if anyone ever offered him the job, he should turn it down immediately because it's not worth the trouble. He then turns to walk away, but before he leaves, Alec has one final question for him. So he asks why Eldaz chose to teach him magic in the first place, and Eldaz explains that he did it because Alec's mother did him a huge favor while she was still alive, so he wanted to repay that kindness by looking after her son. Several years later, Alec is now a student at the Royal Academy, and he has just found one of the school's old yearbooks, so he flips through it and finds the section about Eldaz. Just as expected, Eldaz was the top graduating student at the time, and he became a court magician shortly after. But for some reason he ended up getting banished from the kingdom, which is probably why he was forced to leave Alec back then. In that moment, Alec decides that the best thing he can do is become a court magician to change the opinion of the imperial court so he can repay Eldaz's kindness, completely forgetting that that's exactly what Eldaz told him.